All right, it is 7:20 p.m., and I'm going to call into order the Audit and Internal Controls Committee of the Nassau County Interim Finance Authority. The agenda is before the members of the committee, who are Chairman Barsky, who is member by title, John Buren, myself, Lester Petracca is absent, but 3 of the 4 of us constitute a quorum. I'll point out that other board members are also present and welcome to ask questions during the course of the Audit Committee meeting, so that we are not necessarily going to put the audience or the auditors through repeating them when we convene as a full board at the conclusion of the Audit Committee meeting to approve the financial statements and their audit. So with that, the first order of business is the approval of the minutes from our October meeting. Would somebody like to move
it?
Made it. Second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
I vote aye, and the minutes are approved. Next up is the review and approval of the audited financial statements, and I believe that RSM and Carl, you've got a role. You're going to make a presentation to us. I should point out for the public that's anxiously watching this on replay, I'm sure, and here in the room, that the members have had the materials in advance, and so we've read and digested the materials, and may not have as many questions as you might otherwise have because they spoke for themselves. So it may be a short meeting. There may not be a lot of questions, but certainly every question that any member has can be asked and will be answered in the conduct of this meeting.
Thank you and good evening. I prepared the financial statements for the year ending December 31st, 2018 with the assistance of Albrecht, Vigiano, and Zurich, our outside accountants. The numbers I'm about to present do not reflect the net $31,000 change that we were made aware of this past week. Because of the amount of the change, which RSM considers to be immaterial, and the deadlines that we have with the New York State regulatory authorities, we chose to present the financial statements tonight in their current state and incorporate any required adjustments immediately afterwards. If the amount of the adjustments were materially more than what was represented to us, we would have delayed our presentation until the next scheduled directors meeting. I'll let Jen Katz, our engagement partner, take you through our financial statements in greater detail if you wish, but I'll summarize our results. Our net position improved by $125,052,000, which was primarily brought about by paying $118,505,000 in debt with sales tax receipts. This trend will continue as we withhold from sales tax receipts to service our debt. Our net position is now negative $535,720,000 and will continue to decrease as we continue to reduce our outstanding debt, which was $535,479,000 at the end of last year. Among the 4 new accounting pronouncements that were promulgated in 2018, only GASB 75 affected our financial statements, requiring us to increase our beginning net position for 2018 and 2017 by $249,000 and $417,000 respectively. For emphasis, this is a change of accounting principle and not an error correction.
And it relates to post-employment benefits.
That's correct.
So for the record, and that's the item where there's a $31,000 unresolved difference that is the result of a third party who needs to finish their work with greater precision.
That's correct.
We're waiting on somebody else to finish their work, and then we'll be done.
That's right.
Shorter version of, is that a good bumper sticker length version of where we stand?
That's a very good version.
Right.
All right. I'll answer any other questions.
Any questions of Carl from the committee members? Any from the board members present not on the committee? Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'll turn the presentation over to Jen.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you, Carl. Good evening, everyone. So you should have in front of you our report to the Audit and Internal Controls Committee. I do want to point out that it is in draft form when we do finalize, when management provides the updated financial statements with that last $31,000 change. I have extra copies if...
You know, we had it in, I have it on my...
I have extra.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind. We don't have hard copies at the table, I don't think. Or do we?
With the financial statement.
Yeah, we have the financials. And I have it on my... Oh, here it is. We do have it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's down in the back. It's in our books.
Okay, so it will be sent to you in a final form once the final financial statements are available. I do want to turn to page 1. It says required communications at the top. And if we go to the middle of the page, I want to highlight to you the adoption of the new accounting pronouncement. Carl did do a nice job giving you a summary related to other post-employment benefits. So GASB 75.
I was giving you the number, not a single. Sorry. Here we go.
As was pointed out, actually the adoption of GASB 75 resulted in an increase in NYFA's net position. So this actually worked out in your favor.
Right.
Prior year net position was increased by about $249,000. I also want to point out that we had an emphasis of matter paragraph in our opinion. It's still an unmodified or unqualified opinion. It's just that whenever there is the adoption of a new accounting pronouncement, we like to highlight it in the opinion.
Because there's a lack of consistency between.
Correct. If someone were to look at prior year financials, they might see a different net position number. And so we highlight that in the opinion, but our opinion's not modified as a result. If we turn to page 2, we're not aware of any uncorrected misstatements, so this means that there are no items that we may have identified during the audit that we raised to management's attention that they elected not to record. With that last OPEB change, it was immaterial. It could have been passed on, but the decision was made to record it and to have everything fully reflected in the financial statements.
And just for the record and for the public, our general viewpoint has been at NIFA, if it's small enough to pass, it's also small enough to book. And it's easier to book it. That way there's no differences. So
Yep.
it's kind of been our approach. So,
Especially since we're going to hold the county to such high standards
exactly.
for their reporting
Right.
and what we expect, and especially since it is a new pronouncement.
Right.
I think we just want to make sure we get it absolutely correct.
Get it right.
Thank you.
If we turn to page 3, this table has a summary of significant accounting estimates. We like to go through significant accounting estimates because these are the areas where, when we're doing our risk assessment, we look at significant estimates as a place where there could be management bias per se, or any area where maybe activity that would be unwarranted may be identified. So the 2 significant estimates are related to the OPEB. As you can imagine, with the adoption of GASB 75, we did a lot of audit procedures related to OPEB, and we concluded with the last audit adjustment that the estimate recorded is reasonable. And the other significant estimate is related to the fair value of the interest rate swaps. So we include valuation specialists within our firm who come in and they analyze the swap agreements and come up with an independent fair value. We compare that to NIFA's specialist calculation and concluded again that those are reasonable.
You did it on a regression analysis basis?
Yes, so the regression analysis is used to determine if they are effective in terms of being able to use hedge accounting, and they are.
And it's
Okay.
important to note that we take some of that management, we take all of that management bias off the table ourselves by using third-party specialists for both of these calculations.
Correct.
So that there's an objective viewpoint that goes into our accounting as well.
If we turn to page 4, there is one recorded audit adjustment. You see 2 different tables because we are required to present it to you by opinion unit, and with governmental financial statements, each major fund is a separate opinion unit. This is really just the transfer between the general fund and the debt service fund. The overall impact is 0. It eliminates for the government-wide. It just related to one last transfer required for future debt service. And the last thing attached here is Exhibit A, which is a draft of the management representation letter, along with your approval of the draft tonight, subject to the last edit, and the receipt of the signed representation letter. We will be in a position to issue our final opinions.
So just some questions for you, and more for the public record.
Sure.
You had access to all people and information that you needed in the conduct of the audit?
Yes, we did.
So there was never a time when you couldn't either ask a question or get an answer to that question?
No, management and those charged with governance have been very transparent and easy to speak with.
And there's nothing in this rep letter, which is the last section of the exhibit, that is being used as the only audit evidence you're getting?
No.
Great. And of course, you know that should any of those occurrences happen during the course of the audit or any other time you have redress through speaking to the audit committee, either the chair or any other member of the audit committee.
Yep, thank you.
Any questions for RSM?
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you have any reason to hold an executive session with the board, speak to them directly?
So I have nothing to report. Executive session is always welcome if anyone chooses to have one.
But you have
But-
no
I'll move
reason.
that we waive the executive session.
The only question that I would ask, though, is just an update. When we met back in October, I asked if anyone was aware of any fraudulent matters. So update to that question, and then as we stand here today, any subsequent events that would need to be disclosed in the footnotes that we aren't already aware of.
Does anyone have anything to report? For the record, no, there were none.
Okay, great.
In which case, we probably don't need an executive session, unless anybody would like to have one. Great. Would somebody like to, thank you.
Thank you.
Would somebody like to, moving back into our agenda, I believe then the,
By the way, thank you, Jen.
Thank you very much.
Jen,
You've done a great job.
I think you did a great job this year, especially given the fact that we're adopting a new standard. And I think you did an excellent job both helping us and as well the county. So it's gone very, it's noticed and appreciated. Thank you.
There is a resolution, it's letter F of item 2 of the Audit and Internal Controls Committee. Would somebody like to move that?
I'll move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye as well. That is carried. Item 3, should we just keep going, Carl? Do you need to present on it, or is it?
I could
Or,
present it.
Okay. Okay.
So, action item 3, NIFA is required to annually issue numerous reports pursuant to the NIFA Act, the Public Authorities Law, the Public Authorities Accountability Act of 2005, and the Public Authorities Reform Act of 2009. The 2018 annual report of the authority, which had been distributed to each of the directors in advance of this meeting, is one such report, and the report briefly discusses the structure, mission, and accomplishments of the authority through December 31st, 2018. It also includes a summary of key litigation. There are also a number of attachments to the back of the report that must be filed annually for compliance with the aforementioned laws and acts. And as listed in your materials, these reports include a report on debt issuance, the audited financial statements, which were just discussed, the report on investments, our prompt payment report, procurement contracts guidelines, our property disposition report, our mission statement and measurement report, and our code of ethics. And for completeness, we have also attached the NIFA Act and NIFA's bylaws. The report and attachments are submitted for your review and recommendation that they be approved by the board at its next meeting, which will follow the conclusion of the audit committee meeting.
So with that in mind, we have a resolution to approve that report and all of the attachments that Evan referenced. It is at our tab 3. Would somebody like to move that?
I'll move the resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye as well. That motion passes. Next item on the agenda is to review and approve our NIFA investment guidelines. I should point out that all of this is about NIFA's audit of NIFA, not the county's audit. That's our financial status.
Yes, as you just referenced, the next item are NIFA's investment guidelines. And what these do, the guidelines govern NIFA's investments, including the sales, monitoring, accounting, reporting, and internal controls by and of the authority. No new changes are recommended at this time. However, we are required to annually, despite not having any changes, we are required to present them for your approval.
Great. And essentially reaffirming our best practice.
Correct.
With no changes. Would somebody like to move that resolution, which is at tab 4?
Move it.
Aid.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I vote aye as well. That motion passes. The 5th item on the agenda is a discussion item of our annual internal controls review, and Carl will walk us briefly through that. Again, NIFA's internal controls.
Thank you. What you have before you is a status report of NIFA's internal controls, which is to be presented each year. In it, we note the steps taken to support our system of internal controls during the prior year. As a result of the steps we took last year, we, at the staff level, are satisfied that our system of internal controls is effective in safeguarding assets that pass through our control and in detecting any errors in a timely fashion. The purpose of this report is to inform you of the status of our internal control. There is no action that's required on your part. Can I answer any questions?
The members have had this to read in advance. Does anybody have any questions, either on the committee or otherwise on the board? I see none. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you.
Would somebody like to move to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. The committee adjourns. Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so now we'll move to the regular portion of the meeting of the Directors of Nassau County Interim Finance Authority, May 23rd, 2019, 7 p.m. And the first item we'll consider is the approval of the minutes from our April 23rd.
So moved. Second.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The next, as we've just heard in the Audit Committee, is the receipt and acceptance of the audited financial statements and related actions.
Chairman, the Audit and Internal Controls meeting, at a meeting that ended just moments ago, unanimously approved the acceptance of the of NIFA's financial statements and a number of other reports, and I move resolution 19.745.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries. Item 3 is the approval of reports required by NIFA Act, Public Authorities Law, Public Authorities Accountability Act of 2005, and Public Authorities Reform Act of 2009, and the authorization to take related actions. Also discussed.
Well, the report and attachments were reviewed and approved by the Audit and Internal Controls Committee, which met just prior to this board meeting, and is now submitted to the board for its approval at the committee's recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move the resolution that is at tab 3.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries. The next item is the readoption of the investment guidelines and taking related actions. One question I would ask, has there been any change since the last?
No, and I would suggest that the board considering and adopting the actions 4, 5, 6, and 7 at the same time. They're all somewhat related, or we could do them individually.
Well, the question would be, are there any changes from prior years?
No.
And Mr. Chairman, we did consider item 4 at the Audit and Internal Controls
Yep.
Committee. I will move that as well as items 5 and 6 as a block.
I could briefly describe what 5, 6, and 7
Right.
is.
Go ahead.
Right.
Are.
Maybe somebody should second and we can discuss.
Second.
There we go.
Go ahead.
Okay, so, well, as Chris Wright just mentioned, the investment guidelines, which were already considered by the audit committee, they govern the investment, sales, monitoring, accounting, and reporting and internal controls by and of the authority. Item 5, our procurement contracts guidelines. They govern the authority's procurement contracts, which are agreements for the acquisition of goods and services of any kind. Action item 6 are the property disposition contract guidelines, and they govern the use, awarding, monitoring, and reporting of contracts for the disposal of property. And item 7 are the code of ethics, and what they list the standards and principles of conduct that applies to the authority's employees, directors, and former employees.
Also, just,
And no changes are recommended.
no changes.
And they all comport with the state law. They're all inconsistent. They're consistent with the guidelines we've been providing,
Yes, they are.
without exception.
Are there any questions? Not, I'll take a motion.
I moved and seconded. We can just vote.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries. And just to remind everybody, if you haven't done already, the financial disclosure forms need to be filed with the state. People
It's
should,
the highlight of my tax year, right after the tax return.
just make sure, just reminding everybody. Okay. Item 8 is the consideration of county contract for Commander Electric.
Commander Electric is an 18-month, $7.6 million contract that is for Phase 3 of the traffic control system. The purpose of the contract is to replace older, outdated traffic signal control equipment with new state-of-the-art equipment, and includes upgrades to pedestrian facilities such as handicap ramps, bulb outs, drainage improvements, and larger signal faces. The project will also install fiber optic communication equipment to allow these signals to communicate with the county's traffic management system in Westbury. Borrowing for this particular contract was approved in our November meeting, and this contract is also reimbursable at 80%, so the net cost of the contract will be $1.5 million.
I'll move it.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next item is the consideration of county contract for Basilico Civil, NIFA number 116-19.
I think it's, if I may recommend, to submit the 3 contracts for Basilico together, since they all have the same work scope. They're all for road resurfacing in various county roads of town of Hempstead and North Hempstead.
And they're broken up into 3 contracts based on what basis? By area, by geographic area, or?
Geographic area, yes.
So each of
Yes.
each of the three towns?
So each contract addresses a certain group of roads in different
Got it.
areas of the towns of Hempstead and North Hempstead.
And was this selected through a low bid competitive process, or was
It
this
was
an
an open competitive bidding process, and
Were they the low bidder?
yes, they were the low bidder. There was only one case in which they were the only bidding vendor, and the Department of Public Works conducted a investigation, and the conclusion was that all the vendors that had looked into the process concluded that they didn't have enough human resources or time to actually do the job. So therefore, Basilico was awarded with the contract, and that was actually the biggest one, the 13.1. So, any questions?
So you were just speaking to the three items, right?
Yes, item 116, 117, 118, they're all are going to be, these three contracts are actually part of the list of projects that is gonna be submitted for approval later on.
9, 10, and 11 in our tabs.
Yes,
Yep. Yeah.
yes, 9, 10, and 11 in the tabs, yes, and although they're asking for the request today, the debt service for them, it's being assumed in the multi-year plan,
So it is in the budget. If we do approve it and we
Correct.
approve the related borrowing, it's in the budget.
yes.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Who is the contractor for the asphalt?
The Silico supplies their own asphalt.
Excuse me?
The Silico has their own supply plant.
So it's their own plant, they don't sub it out?
Typically, they get it from their own plant.
You said typically, I mean,
On occasion, if it's a remote location, they might purchase from another plant. We have not seen their supply requested yet for our approval. But typically, in their work, they use their own asphalt supply.
okay, if they use an outside supplier, could you let us know?
Sure.
Thank you.
Would you please state your name and position for the record?
Ken Arnold, Commissioner of Public Works.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Want a motion on 9, 10, and 11 then, as a group?
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries. Next item is the consideration of county contract NIFA number 100-19 for Pratt Brothers.
And I would like to make the same suggestion. There are two contracts to be presented in front of you for Pratt Brothers. The scope of the work for both of them is to provide materials, tools, equipment, and incidentals necessary for the resurfacing of various county roads in the towns of Hempstead and North Hempstead again. The vendor was selected through an open competitive process, and contract item 100-2019 is for approximately 5.2 million. Item 101-2019 is approximately for 4.99 million. The funding of these contracts is also allocated to the capital plan, and the borrowing authorization for these items is included in the project list that will be submitted by the county to the board for approval later tonight. The debt service for this borrowing was assumed in the county multi-year plan.
I have the same question. Who's the provider of the asphalt under this contract?
Pratt Brothers typically use scat materials for their asphalt.
What's the name of it?
Scat materials.
Have you ever checked with the district attorney about their status, if any?
Scat materials as compared to their relationship with Elizabeth?
Yes.
Yes. We've discussed that with our compliance people.
And you're satisfied?
My understanding is we are, yes, satisfied.
Okay.
And just for clarification too, the second contract it's below the $5 million threshold for the board, but
Close
just
enough.
for order's sake, I figured put
12
them
grand,
both on.
right? Yeah, close enough,
Yeah,
right?
so just in case anybody's trying to.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I'm going to abstain on this vote for matters having nothing to do with the question I asked about the asphalt.
okay.
Any other questions?
I'll move the two items. A second.
All in favor?
Aye. And one abstain.
And one abstention. So we'll just note that for the record.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just for people in the audience, if you recall from last meeting, we approved only a portion of the borrowing that the county was requesting, mostly because all of the contracts that were going to be part of that borrowing had not gone through all their approval processes, including the one we did tonight. So the idea tonight was to approve all the contracts necessary that would be included in the borrowing. And this is why we did those first, and then the next item I will let Jerry go through, which is the consideration of the issuance of general obligation bond anticipation notes for the county.
Right. So as you recall, at the last meeting, you approved approximately $36.7 million of bond anticipation notes for the county, but you did not approve a good part of their request because the contracts connected with the borrowings had not yet been approved by NYFA. The county submitted a slightly revised set of new projects, all of which have now been reviewed by NYFA, except for $4.3 million worth of projects, which are funding for projects which concern the community college. So the county has submitted now a request for an additional $43.8 million of bond anticipation notes. All the relevant contracts have been approved by NYFA, except for the $4 million, as I mentioned, concerning the community college.
And that's, Jerry, that's not because we're not interested, that's because the community college is not covered by the control period.
The community college could be covered by the control period as a covered organization. The board has chosen not to consider them a covered organization for purposes of reviewing their contracts.
At this
So it's
At this time.
At this time.
at
We always
this
have the right,
time, so it's been our practice not to review their contracts. So that small bit of borrowing, which is
Right.
related to Nassau County
Just in terms of
contracts,
their plan of finance, so they're gonna issue bans now,
it's part of their new
And-
policy
and when will they,
in a
when will
year.
these be taken out with
The
long-term?
policy that they adopted last year is to have them outstanding for a year and then issue long-term bonds to take these out, and then next year to start over again with short-term bans and keep those in existence for a year. So when all is said and done, you will have approved $80.6 million worth of bond anticipation notes if you include what you approved at the last meeting as well as what you're approving at this meeting.
And to reconcile that to the last meeting, we were looking at 76, but we weren't, also, we're not including
They,
the 4
they
million.
submitted a slightly different mix of projects than they had last time. Without going into detail, at this time, you have the list of projects
Yep.
attached to your materials.
When did they expect to actually go to market?
I believe in early June, right, Steve?
Correct.
Great timing. Great timing.
I'll move it.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, and have a pleasant evening and a very happy Memorial Day weekend.